Welcome back to my channel. I should point out now that the last part of this video may be a bit surprising and has no direct connection to what I'll mostly be covering, so you might want to wait for that. I've often pointed out the lack of self-awareness from various trolls, including the Philippine Antics pair of Heidi and George. So you can imagine my reaction when Heidi said this.
You can't criticize without self-reflection.
Good thing I wasn't drinking a hot beverage at the time. But ignoring the hypocrisy of that statement coming from Heidi, I can say the point is at least somewhat legitimate. So, of course, Heidi is going to do that, right? Just listen.
But at least I'm goddamn self-aware that I'm a nutball white woman here.
I don't think being aware that you're a nutball white woman counts as justifying criticizing others. It would be like saying, before a surgeon performs open heart surgery, he should consider whether he is sober or not, and then say, I'm just a crazy white woman, so hand me that scalpel. Then there's another strange comment from Heidi, once again demonstrating a lack of self-awareness.
And so everybody's about ripping each other down, talking shit about each other.
But Heidi does that all the time. How on earth can her hypocrisy be explained? Well, Heidi then says,
At least I'm putting the real truth out there.
Oh, so you just have to declare you're putting the real truth out there, and suddenly it's just fine. Never mind that every troll and gossip claims they are telling the truth. Of course, Heidi's view of what is the truth is rather biased and self-serving. George then jumps in with a related argument.
Projection is a term when you see a flaw in yourself and you identify that flaw for the simple reason you can spot that flaw a mile away because it's a flaw in yourself.
Okay, that certainly happens, but it does not mean that when you see something wrong in someone else that it's really in you. But as you'll see, that's how George and Heidi try to push the idea.
Person saying that I'm deranged or we are is
Because they are deranged themselves.
See what I mean? They claim if they are accused of being deranged, it just means the accuser is the deranged one. Very convenient. They extend this to actual crimes as well.
Oh, you're a thief! You this, you that. Yeah,
They're usually
because
the ones stealing
you're
all
the
the
thief.
You might have to listen more than once to hear all that, since they talk over each other. But it's the same basic argument, that if you call someone a thief, it's you who is the one actually stealing. Again, very convenient argument for the actual thieves. As soon as they get accused, they can just say you must be the real thief based only on you accusing them. Their argument is clearly ridiculous and just a way of ignoring legitimate criticisms. But you should consider the problem from the opposite direction as well. That is, if you want to accept their argument, it means every time they criticize others, it must mean they are projecting and thus guilty themselves. Next, we have George seemingly taking a more rational approach.
If the P, again, P, nothing against you.
Isn't that nice? George has nothing against P. Good to know. So let's proceed.
If the P and Heidi ask the same question, says, please send $10, and so we can feed the cats. Now, first off, remember, neither Heidi nor the P said this.
Again, good thing George is making clear this isn't something P has done.
But what I'm saying is, in all probability, I would say 80% of the men would donate to the P. And I would say none of the men would donate to Heidi. Point being is why?
May or may not be true. Since it is all a made-up scenario, we don't know. But I can point to many reasons why that might happen. However, that isn't my issue. This next part from Heidi is.
Because she puts out simping content and she sucks up to people through the use of talking about the Filipino culture versus the American versus dating, and uses sexual references to everything on the backslide. And I don't. And because I don't suck up to nobody.
So, just like that, it is all against P. Let's look at the empty claims though. How is it sucking up to people if you're talking about the differences in the culture? That's educational. And what's Heidi's problem with the double entendres P sometimes uses? Unless Heidi is jealous, of course. Besides, in spite of her denial, Heidi makes sexual references too, just not as funny or clever. Of course, there is Heidi's declaration that she doesn't suck up while insinuating P does. This is much like when trolls claim P only tells men what they want to hear about the Philippines, which, of course, is just another lie. P has reported the bad things from the start, even entire videos about them. Sure, P says things men want to hear too, because there are good things to say. You get both sides from P. Now, remember George who wasn't making this anything against P? Well, listen to what followed Heidi's criticisms.
Right. So there you go.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly.
So, Heidi just acts like whatever she makes up is true, and it's all negative about P. And George goes right along with her. Such a charming couple. But hey, remember, by their own standards, they are probably just projecting their own flaws anyway. Then we get this oft-repeated, nonsensical remark from Heidi.
And I don't script and sit here with everything perfect either. Take that to your shit house and make something on it.
Well, thank you for permission to make something on it. It's easy to do. Heidi keeps making an issue about scripted videos, always negative, mostly about P, but about other vloggers too. As I pointed out before, Heidi can't make a logical argument for what makes scripted videos bad. She never even tries. But she added something this time. It was the part where, in regard to scripts, Heidi almost brags that she doesn't sit there and try to make everything perfect. Heidi is actually acting like trying to make something perfect is a bad thing. Amazing. Think of it like this. Imagine a first draft of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address that might have begun with 87 years ago, and then on further thought, he changed it to be 77 years ago. I think trying to get the best words is a good thing. For a comparison, when I take clips from antic streams, I often end up discarding them instead of reacting. You know why? Because when you really listen to them, they often say things so badly that you really can't be sure what they were trying to say. Their attitude may give you a good idea, but the words simply are not clear enough to use. I don't care if people do live streams. I don't even care if they speak so poorly I can't be sure what they mean. But when they do these things and then actually criticize someone for trying to get things perfect, yeah, I have a problem with them. Now, I know I've spent this video, and many others, pointing out where the Antics pair goes off the rails. But to be a fair critic, you have to be willing to acknowledge when someone actually makes sense. It's easy to dismiss everything a troll says, but I think it's more productive to point out that they are capable of rational thought when they drop the act. I found this example to be fascinating because it covers a topic that usually triggers an absolute frenzy among trolls and gossips: age gap relationships. We begin with Heidi reading a chat comment from a man in an age gap relationship.
She graduates college in a few weeks and not looking to play the field. I've truly found love, and she's more mature than many girls twice her age in the U.S.
The comment Heidi read was from a 43-year-old man involved with a 21-year-old Filipina. Now, usually, this is where the knives come out. You expect the usual script. He's a predator. She's a gold digger. The whole thing is a scam. But listen to Heidi's very untroll-like response.
I love it. I do like it, even if it's an age gap relation. Even if it's huge, there's been 40 and 50-year age gaps where they do work out, but you got to be realistic in it too. So there'll be some point when 20 years, she'll be 41 and then you would be 63. But it's how you guys handle it, how you mature, how you weather it is what's going to be, and if you know her maturity and you guys are in love, then yeah.
It's a surprisingly measured take. She even acknowledges that massive gaps, 40 or 50 years, can work, provided people are realistic about the future. Ironically, Heidi is echoing the exact points I've made in my own videos. She hits on the reality that a 20-year gap feels different when the man hits his 60s, and that success depends on the individuals, not just the numbers. For a few minutes, the anger was gone. There was no smearing, no nutball attacks, and no projection. She was just being informative. It serves as a stark reminder. If they applied this level of logic and balance to how they treat other vloggers, they wouldn't be antics, they'd be actual vloggers. It's a shame this version of Heidi doesn't show up more often, but as she would say, it is what it is. Thanks for watching, and don't let the trolls stop you from speaking out.